Yo, what's going on, boys and girls? 37 Ghosts with another video. Now, in today's video, we are going to be talking about politics and what changed mine for, I'm not going to say forever, but just pretty much my analysis on all of this. I'm just going to go straight into it. I want you guys to sit back, relax, play your video games, listen to me while you're working, do all that good stuff. But yeah, let's start from the beginning. Who I grew up with, what is my background? So as you know, I am a African American of West African origin. My family grew up in California for the most part. Some parts of the East Coast as well. So my parents were very blue, very blue. I didn't know there was even like a different life until like 2020, like that there is a different political stance that is not what the current existence is. I thought the current existence was literally liberalism. I didn't know anything else. So let's get into the nitty gritty of all of this. I think this is a story that needs to be told. It's a side story. It doesn't have to have its own video. Excuse me. It doesn't have to have its own video. I'm definitely going to go into more depth about this in another video, talking about my experiences with women as a whole. But there was a time during sophomore year, right? There was a party. I went to a party, and I was with my friends, and I ended up getting a lap dance from two of these girls that I thought were very, very attractive. I had a crush on one of them, actually. I actually didn't even ask to get a lap dance. I was pretty much just sitting down by myself, and those two girls came up to me. And one was Arab, one was Irish, right? Just total white girl, right? I had a huge crush on the Irish girl, right? So I'm sitting down, and the Arab girl gives me a lap dance, and she knows what she's doing. I don't know how she learned that shit, but she knows what she's doing. It feels like a fucking GTA strip club. Cool. It happened. It lasts for like a minute or two. Boom. So she walks up, and then the Irish girl comes in and tries to imitate what the Arab girl does, but she doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. She's jumping up and down, like just fucking hurting me, and I'm visibly like distraught, like what the actual fuck is she doing? But I let it slide because I was very attracted to her. But everybody saw this. Like there was a crowd. A lot of people saw this, including because the Arab and Irish were friends. They were all like really close. So everybody saw it, and she just got up and walked away. She didn't say anything to me. She just kind of just walked away. Now my black ass, I didn't think anything. Like I didn't care. Like I was like, oh shit, it's lit. Like these girls are just pretty much like throwing themselves at me. I don't even have to care about shit. Like, and that was the whole night. I'll get into depth about that, like I said in a different video. Cool night, amazing night. Actually, one of the best nights of my teen years, honestly. Had an amazing night. Come back to school on Monday, and I realized the Irish girls friend group is not fucking with me. Like I'm walking around campus, and I just see them all staring at me like I did something, and I see the Irish girl just bawling her eyes out when she sees me, and I'm just like, what the actual fuck? Then my boy, he was like, hey, I don't know what the fuck happened, like something sus, and I felt it too. Like my boy, my best friend, he's this German kid, and I was really like, I was sussed out because I felt something was gonna happen. Mind you, the area that I was in, like I said, I was at the time I was in SoCal, LA County, in a very bougie area. Like I'm telling you, it was like 4% black. The majority of the kids that went to my school were definitely not black. Pretty much everything, but there was a lot of a lot of diversity. I got to meet a lot of different ethnic groups, which I'm so blessed to know, because like I don't think I would have had I would have want any other experience. The whole school was pretty much like a equal, or it was majority white. I'm not gonna lie to you. Majority of the kids were either Irish, German, English, all that shit, like the typical white phenotype, right? But you had a lot of Italians, you had a lot of Greeks and all that stuff, right? You had a lot of Latin Americans, so a lot of Mexicans, a lot of there's a good amount of Colombians, a lot of people from the East, so a lot of Arabs. I grew up, like, some of my best friends were Arabs, Persians, Armenians, Afghans, like all that shit, right? Um, and a lot of Asians too, like Koreans, Filipinos. Don't even get me started, bro. Like, it was just a melting pot, but it just did not have a lot of black kids. So I was unique in that sense, and I realized that, like, if we rewind back to the story time, I just remembered that there was something off about that day, right? And I got called into the office. I remember getting the slip. I remember the yard duty gave me, like, looking pissed, like I did something, and I walked in thinking, like, what the fuck is going on? I didn't do anything, and I got scolded for sexual assault with the Irish girl, and I was totally lost. I was like, what the actual fuck are you talking about? I didn't even she didn't even ask for my consent to, like, sit on top of my lap. Like, I let it happen because obviously I'm a 15-year-old kid and I'm a boy. Like, I want girls, so it's like I don't care, and I had a huge crush on her at the time. So it's like I didn't even care. Like, I guess it was in the moment. I did not care, but she was like, oh, the people that were talking to me were saying, like, oh yeah, like, she said that you forced her for a lap dance, that you grabbed her and all this stuff. I'm like, check everybody fucking there. There was hundreds of people there. There was a huge crowd around us. It was probably on fucking camera. Like, this shit is not true. And luckily the lady that was talking to me was black, and when I told her everything, like, she immediately understood, like, oh, this is one of those situations. And she was like, next time, just be wary of those type of individual, because these white girls will fuck you, honestly. Like, they will falsely accuse you of shit that you didn't do, and completely derail your life. If that were to happen in the adult realm, like, that's done. Like, I lose my job, I lose my apartment, I lose fucking everything. And that would send me down a spiral of, like, suicidal ideation. Like, it doesn't, or self-deletion, I should say. Self-deletion. It really would, because it's like, I don't, that type of shit, like, where everybody switches up on you. It's so whack. It's like, how does that individual not face any consequence, right? Nothing happened from this. She eventually said, like, she was just embarrassed about the situation. Nothing happened from it. Nobody had to go into the office but me. It got dropped immediately. My parents immediately understood what was going on, and I related to the Emmett Till story. Like, the fact that that kid really quote unquote whistled at a white girl, and he didn't even whistle, by the way. And he got his ass beat for a false accusation and fucking killed. It's that type of shit that was like, oh my god, like that. Like, if this happened to me, that happened to me in 2017. If this happened 60 fucking or 100 years ago, dude, I am on a fucking noose in a tree somewhere. Like, this shit is scary, bro. Why the fuck am I telling you this, right? I'll get back to it. So, during 2020, we all know that the vid happened. Let's call that. the vid happened, the stuff that the thing that shut down all of the world for a few months, over 99.9% survival rate, right? So one thing I realized is I was listening to Soul Illuminati. This is who I got the inspiration for, right? Is the fact that getting the jab would be very sus immediately. Now I can already see in the comments everybody's getting like fucking mad. First off, fuck you. Second of all, hear me out, right? Hear me out. Hear me out. My people have had a history of getting injected with shit that is quote unquote good, but at the time it's quote unquote good, but years later has found to be like, oh yeah, they were injecting HIV, whatever the fuck, into us. So I'm worried about that shit in general. But when I heard it from Soul Illuminati saying like what could be, I know he's funny and he's a hypothetical, but it was just like, like I never thought about it like that. Maybe I should wait out on it. I thought this was a very logical conclusion. Everybody in my family attacked me for it. I got to the point where my family didn't want to hang out with me in social gatherings. Like they would say like, hey, 37 Ghosts, you can't be at this place because you don't have the jab. When I started working, luckily I was a delivery driver, so they weren't too pushy on the jab, but at the same time they were giving like financial benefits. Oh, get a $200 bonus if you just get the jab. It's just like, it was sus. So when I was a delivery driver in the capital of the most liberal state in the country, that whole Vax card thing was a fucking real deal. I realized that it was the first time that I've ever dealt with segregation. Going into these places and them pulling out or them asking about my Vax card, right? And me saying I didn't have one and them kicking me out as I see the Black Lives Matter flag in their fucking window. It's like, bro, are you dead ass right now? And I'm not going to say like this is the type of segregation that my people faced in the 1960s and earlier. I'm not going to say that because I could have easily just got the jab and it have been fine. But it's just the fact that you're not trying to hear you're not trying to hear me, right? My people have been through so much when it comes to this type of shit. So I'm very wary on it. Give me the data. Give me the let me see how this plays out, right? And a lot of people will be like, trust the science. Why I can't, I am so fucking irritated with that statement, trust the science. It was scientifically proven in the 1800s and earlier that the African was inferior. Trust the science. People who had slaves trusted the science. And it's like when people go through the status quo of whatever's going on, people don't think they're capable of evil, right? But what I was realizing is the fact that if you don't have a mind of your own, which the majority of these people didn't, bro, it's like a hive mind. It's like that's when I understood like how something like the Armenian genocide or World War II, like the Nazis, like how that could have actually happened, is because it's not where it's like you see it as in your day-to-day life. You just kind of see like, oh yeah, these people should be exterminated, and this is the status quo, and it's not even going to be voted like that. It's going to be like, oh yeah, we're going to send them off to this place, and they're going to be happy, and it's just like whatever, and people are just going to co-sign it without thinking about it. And that's when I realized, oh, so this is all the genocides in history. This is how that shit happens. And that was my first time being segregated. It was just like every place I went to, I couldn't get into. Do you have your Vax card? Oh, sorry. With the Black Lives Matter like shit on. Like, don't say my Black life matters if you're literally fucking kicking me out of me trying to get money, fucking my life up, and segregating me from a place of that you say that I'm welcome, I'm home at, right? Due to my past experiences and my feelings. Like, isn't liberalism all about fucking feelings and how you feel? How the fuck are you not going to, like, at least, like, hear me out, understand my point of view, and or just, they literally would just fucking segregate me and get the fuck out of there. And I lost money because of that shit. And I remember I remember people would ask me like, why didn't you just fucking just get it? And I ended up getting it at towards the end of like 2020. Like, I got it like at the beginning, no, the end of 2020, the end of 2021. I ended up getting it, and it fucked me up health wise so bad. I was on Christmas Day. I was in the hospital for heart was it complications or whatever. Ever since I got the jab or whatever, bro, like like, it doesn't happen anymore, but I had the worst chest pains like immediately after I got it, and it didn't go away for almost like a fucking year. And it was just like, I told myself that there was something sus about this shit. I've never had that from a jab ever. I've gotten multiple jabs. This was the first time where it was like I could literally, the way I could describe it is that I felt like I could feel my heart beating. People don't feel their heart beating. Like, even when you're exercising, like, you can feel the pump, but like, I could feel the tingle of my like literal heart beating, and it didn't feel good. It felt like, you know how you work out and your muscles are sore. Like, I felt like my heart was fucking sore. That's how I felt. I watched the movie 300 with Leonidas and all that stuff, and I always, after I watched that movie, I always told myself that after this situation, that I am going to die on my beliefs. Like, I am going to remain open-minded, but there's certain things where you can't push me to a certain extent. I don't care if you take away my job, my place, even my life. Like, I don't care. Like, I have to stand on this, because if you don't stand on if you don't stand on something, you're gonna fall for everything, right? And one thing that really pissed me off, we're going back to the story time of or sophomore year with that Irish chick, right, is the fact that they were posting Black Lives Matter on their shit. Now, why did I get so pissed off on the Black Lives Matter? And this is coming, like I said, from a African American of West African origin, ethnically. I see the Black Lives Matter situation. I very much understand it. I very much appreciate it. I'm not going to be one of those Candace Owen and Officer Tatum types that are like, oh yeah, well, screw Black Lives Matter. No, I'm not that, right? I very much understand it, but I think the black community needs to be healed internally before we start getting mad at anybody else that's fucking that's killing other black people. What do I mean? I think that rap music, the whole culture, it promotes violence between each other, and this whole African unity shit, I think it's retarded, right? Because will you ever see somebody of a white person or somebody of European descent, which is the same thing, but somebody of European descent wearing of a shirt that says that has like the European continent on their shirt, like just the European continent, or an Asian person having the whole Asian continent on their fucking shirt? Like, that's not going to happen, because the unity, you have to understand, the Germans hate the French, or they battled each other so many times. The Eastern Europeans can't get their shit together when it comes to like Yugoslavia and all that shit, and Ukraine, Russia, like all that, right? Asia, oh, but don't get me started on Asia, dude. Like, it's literally like Arabs can't get together. Afghanistan's like can't get together. It's like all this shit, dude. It's like even the countries in their own region can't even get their shit together. So this whole African unity shit, like we're all gonna reunite as Pan African, as if the North Africa is a different type of African. It's not black, how we see it, right? Um, and even the East Africans are Arabized, and or they don't identify with the being black. And then you have the Western Africans who don't like being called black. They like to differentiate themselves from African Americans. So we're just all just fucking distant from each other. So we don't fucking know. We're not unified, and nobody else is unified. The Europeans aren't unified. The Asians aren't unified. The Latin Americans aren't unified. You can look at the fucking the Trump Hispanic vote. Like, it's very fucking split. Like, there's a lot of, like, we're not all unified. So when I see the Black Lives Matter thing, it's just like, it's like a sorry ass attempt to say that our lives matter, and it's like you don't even value um, your own life, because you're fucking this, you promote that ghetto shit. And I'm not gonna say like that it's our fault that we're doing it, but it's our responsibility. I'm not, because the black people I've noticed is they're the only type of people that don't get back up. You have to understand, in the 1950s, like, we were having our own houses, own cars, had beautiful families. Back then, in peak segregation, when everything was like against us, we still rose above it. But now, when the quote unquote white man puts drugs in our neighborhood and does all this shit, we can't get back up. Like, that's ridiculous. And you have to understand, like, think about what Jewish people had to go through. Think about what just any other people in history. Like, people have always been subjugated to fuck shit, and they get back up. It feels like the black community just keeps promoting, like, oh yeah, like, I'm a victim, I'm a victim, I'm a victim, I'm a victim, and doesn't get the fuck back up. And I hate that shit. Another reason why I changed my politics, right? But when I saw that Irish girl posting, and a lot of her friends posting, like, oh yeah, Black Lives Matter, as if you didn't almost fucking Emmett Till somebody literally a couple years back. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. Like, they don't even know, like, the severity of what they're doing. They just think it fucking sounds right. Like, oh yeah, Black Lives Matter, as if they don't fucking try to set black men up for fucking failure, or any black people up in general for failure. It pisses me the fuck off, dude. And growing up, like, like, the racism, like, I've been called the N-word so many times on a football team, whatever, right? And to see them say, like, oh yeah, Black Lives Matter, no lives matter until Black Lives Matter. It's like, bro, you're literally, if I pulled up your Xbox conversations, you would be fucked right now. Like, are you joking? And I'll cut you some slack. You were young, but still, I just remember, like, you're saying Black Lives Matter now, but like 4 years ago, you were talking about how Africans are monkeys, how they need to go back to Africa, and the N-word, like, hard R, like, all that shit. It's like, give me a fucking break. It just, all with all those combining factors, it's like that really concluded to, like, okay, so the fact is, like, and I got so alienated. Like, people, when I voiced my opinion, like, people would be like, would do polls on Instagram, like, are you getting the jab, yes or no? And I'd say no, and I'd just be blocked, and be like some white girl. It's like, what the, bro, are you even trying to understand my perspective? It's like, and then it'd be like, Black Lives Matter. It's like, bro, you're literally, like, fucking alienating me for having a different opinion. And the conclusion I got from that is that liberals, they care about you until you have a different opinion. And the thing is, that's funny, is that these liberals will think that, oh yeah, like, Like they think their way is the right way, right? Until they something happens to them. And something happened to me. Like this whole 2020 thing really radicalized me to the point where if that didn't happen, I'd probably be still a liberal. I'd probably be liberal as fuck. I was, believe it or not, 2020. I was the Stop Asian Hate guy. I was the Black Lives Matter posting that shit too. I was doing all that stuff, right? Everybody's equal and all that shit. And I still believe that, absolutely. But the 2020 2021 shit happened to me, and I was just like, hey, like fuck this, like this is all a facade. These people don't give a fuck about you. Like I'd see on a sign like your opinion matters, your voice matters, you matter. It's just like, shut the fuck up. No, I don't. Because it's like literally every time I voice my opinion, I feel invisible. And if I have a different ideology different to yours, you want to cancel me. I had something where I voiced my opinion on the Black Lives Matter thing. People on that I grew up with on Twitter were attacking me like fucking crazy. Like you're not black, you don't. And these are people that aren't black. Like you're a coon. You're a sellout to the race. How the fuck are you going to say that if you're not even fucking black? Like you're ridiculous. It was just a nightmare. It was a fucking nightmare. And that's when I realized that the Liberal Party is definitely not for me. And I don't know if that's true, right? The thing is that I thought like, oh yeah, then that means I'm conservative. When I realized, you have to realize, and this is very quick, right? You have to realize that the Trump team as a minority is not on your fucking team. Like what Patrick Bet David went through the other day with fucking the founding fathers shit, and they pretty much said, well, they're not your founding fathers. And then they showed the Shah of Iran, and it was like, that's your founding father. It's like, and he's Armenian too. So it's like, he's Armenian and Assyrian, I believe. So it's like, these people on the right, like once you go to the far right, and I know that's not a very justified way of just grouping the right, but the far left is terrible too in its own right. But the far right, like a lot of them just they're just racist straight up. Like I was listening to like Collective Dismal and fucking Black Pill content. Like once you get too radicalized, like you start to get so red to the point where it's like you think other races are inferior to you. You think women are inferior. It's like you start to go so down this rabbit hole. And if you just look on Twitter, like what they say about Indians, what they say about black people, all this stuff. It's like, bro, that's not my fucking team. And the thing is that bothers me about Trump is the fact that, and mind you, I fucking voted for him too. Is the fact that he doesn't call this shit out. Like he doesn't, like I've had this experience when I was at the tire shop when I like there would be explicit like racist remarks on my name, like they would cross out my name, put monkey on it, like stuff like that. And I knew that he knew about it, but he just didn't care enough to change it. And I didn't label him as a racist for doing that, because when I was going through the car situation, which I did I told you guys about on a different video, like he was the one that called in the dealership trying to confront them about some of the shit they did. And a racist wouldn't fucking do that. You get what I'm saying? But like he just kind of had this nonchalant way of like, oh yeah, like I don't really care about this racist shit. Like I don't care unless the legality came to it, then I care. But like in general, I don't care. I feel like that's what Trump is. Like Trump, I don't think he's a racist per se, but I just don't think he has sympathy like the left does when it comes to racism. I just think he doesn't care. But then that's when I realized, and when you have these Officer Tatum and Candace Owen types that are like just pretty much just trying to fight everything that the left says, that's no good, because deep down they want to be fucking white. I am a firm believer on who you procreate with is who you want to deep down be with. So what do I mean? If you're skinny as fuck and you hated being skinny your whole life, you're most likely going to get with a fat woman because you want to have your offspring not deal with being skinny like yourself. And this is an unconscious thing. Like, you're not saying this like, oh yeah, I need my offspring to be bigger bone. Like, you're not thinking that, but it's an unconscious thing of where you're just like, oh yeah, like, I'm going to procreate with this woman or this man because he has the body type that I want. So deep down, I know I'm going to create children that are going to have that body type. This is the same with skin color, with race, and pretty much just all the simple stuff. Where it could be, this is the type of the eyebrows that I want so I'm going to procreate with somebody who has that type of eyebrow, that type of face, that type of ethnic background, that type of culture. Literally all those guys are saying, and you can see it in Candace Owens' hair. Like, she straightened her hair. That's not her real fucking hair, right? Or wears a fucking wig or whatever. Deep down, she wants to be fucking white and be Republican. Like, that's all that shit is. And same with Officer Tatum. Like, it's literally like, he'll be like, oh yeah, I dated black women back in the day. It's like, okay, but you didn't fucking procreate with one because you don't want your kids to be fucking black. And literally, you can see it in how they talk about their kids. Like, my kids aren't black, they're biracial. Bro, do you understand? If they got fucking pulled over, they're fucking black, you fucking imbecile. It's like, I don't even understand that shit at all. Like, they're black. Candace Owens is the same thing. Oh yeah, well, they're biracial, and so it's like, to an extent, everybody's biracial. Everybody migrated from Africa. We mixed in with the other humanoid types and got what we have today. It's like, everybody to a certain extent is biracial. So it's really the majority of what you are, and what pierces through, and what the average human sees is a fucking, when you see a half, it's not even a half, it's literally a 60-40 split on average when you have an African American and a white American, because a white American is a majority European and the African American has European ancestry, but it's small. You mix that together, it's a 60-40 split of African and European, which means that the majority of the mixed people are literally white. More so, but nobody sees it like that. They're fucking black. Nobody is that biracial shit is, they're black. So that's what I think. I think a lot of the Republican black people, or the Republican people of that are minorities, have, guess they almost want to be European descendants, and they always, I can tell, like you see the a lot of the people that just aren't they're not black, they're not white, and they're Republican, they're red as fuck. Like, they're only going for white men, only going for white women. It's just like they deep down want to procreate and be white. And I can fucking see right through that shit. So as 3.0, I just realized that I know nothing. So it's like, the more that you know, the more that you don't know. You get what I'm saying? That's my conclusion. I don't know any fucking thing. And I'm okay with that, you know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't fucking know shit. And with this politics, like, as the 3.0 version of myself, I'm going to go in a whole different video on what what the different versions of myself were. I know that was my first video. That's what my first video was supposed to be, but I totally got derailed. Right? But I'm going to do an in-depth, like, this is the 1.0, this is the 2.0, this is the 3.0, and this is the 4.0. What are these different versions, right? But as a 3.0, I call the 3.0 version of myself the healing journey. As this 3.0 version of myself, I intend to just drop everything that I fucking know as a liberal, as a conservative, and just try to take in as much information as possible, because I am about to turn 23 in very soon, and I refuse to be a hard head on certain things. I don't want to be closed-minded on certain things. I don't know shit. I don't know shit about women. I don't know shit about history. I don't know shit about politics. I don't know shit about money. I don't know anything. And I'm willing to be humble enough to be like, I don't know anything, let me learn. So as 3.0, I want to learn where the fuck I stand, because it's not liberalism, and it's not really conservative either. I want to know where the fuck I stand. And as 3.0, as the healing process begins, especially in March, that's when I intend to be 3.0 officially. I will just have to learn all of the things that I need to learn, these politics and what is really going on in the world, because I refuse to fall into this bullshit with these politics, and I refuse to keep getting mad. I don't want to be dragged into this Harris Trump debate and all this. Who did you vote for? Did you get the jab? Oh, you're a piece of shit. Oh, you don't. Do you stand for women's rights? Oh yeah, Black Lives Matter. Oh, gay rights matter. It's like, dude, I need to just step back and really analyze what both sides are saying, what other sides are saying, and just go from there. That's where I stand politically. If you enjoy the video, please like and subscribe. There's going to be more videos coming soon. I want to give you guys a timeline. So pretty much February and early March, I'm pretty much just going to be telling you who the fuck I am, because you guys don't know who I am. I'm literally 37 Ghost. I am a ghost. You don't know who I am. So I'm pretty much just telling you my personal experiences on everything, so you can get a grasp of who I am. Because starting in March on, I'm going to do more POV videos. They're not going to make sense if you don't know who I am. So this is where it's like I'm just pretty much just voicing who I am, what I am, and what the intended goal is. And stay tuned. It's going to be, I'm really just telling my story. As 3.0 and as March goes on, I'm going to, you're going to see the story. That's the difference. I'm telling you the story right now. You're hearing the story and you're watching a bunch of gameplay. But as 3.0 and 4.0, you are going to see and hear the story. That's going to be the difference. And it's going to be riveting. Like, I think my life is definitely very interesting. I realized that when I was working at the tire shop, and a lot of people were just amazed on my insight. I have a lot to share. I have a lot of opinions, right? So I want to voice this out, and I just want to go from there. So yeah, if you like the video, please, and you want to hear more, let me know in the comments what you want to know about, what you want to hear about, and we'll just go from there. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. 37 Ghost remains a ghost. Later.